The Emperor Necklace. Chapter 1. A New Case. Day 1 at the police station, in the morning. Jacques Clouseua is sitting at his desk, writing a report. Clouseua talking to himself.
I must find who keeps stealing my food. I must catch him, or I will be hungry for the rest of my life. I will not rest until justice is served.
At that moment, a man entered the police station. Man, excuse me, sir. We are looking for Detective Jacques Clouseua. Clouseua jumping up from his desk.
That is I, monsieur. What can I help you?
Good morning, sir. My name is Bernard. I work for the Lady and Lord Dubois. Lady Dubois has sent me. She has heard that you are a very skilled detective. And we need your assistance to find the Emperor Necklace. Clouseua beaming with pride.
Of course, monsieur. I am always happy to help.
Bernard, Lady Dubois was holding a party this night. After the party had just finished, the necklace was gone. Clouseua gasping.
I will see what I can do. This is indeed the case for the greatest detective in France, me.
Bernard, and we believe that you are that detective, sir. Clouseua blushing.
Oh, monsieur. You are too kind. Please do tell the lady that I will solve this case in no time.
Bernard, then we put our trust in you, Mr. Clouseua. The man turns and leaves the police station. Clouseua sits back down at his desk and begins to think about the case. Clouseua talking to himself.
This will be my greatest challenge yet. But I am the great detective, Jacques Clouseua. And I will not fail.
He opens the fridge and cries in wonder.
Where is it? Where is my damn sandwich?
Then Clouseua stands up and walks out of the kitchen, determined to solve the case and catch the thief. At the sergeant's office, the same day. Sergeant Richelieu is the most powerful and fearful man in France, has just entered the police station. He walks into his office, sits at his desk, and starts reading a report. A knock sounds at the door. Richelieu without looking up.
Come in.
Jacques Clouseua enters the study, bowing to the sergeant.
Excuse me, sir.
Richelieu looking up.
How can I help you, detective? Sir, Lady Dubois' necklace was stolen this night, and I will run the investigation.
Richelieu scoffs.
You. Clouseua. Yes, sir.
Richelieu standing up.
I have no time for your foolishness. You can't do that. Why, sir? I'm the best detective in France. I can find the necklace.
Richelieu shakes his head.
Of course, you are. But I am in charge of that case. Go find yourself another case.
Jacques takes a step closer to Sergeant Richelieu.
But sir, I must be in this case. Lady Dubois has asked me in person.
The sergeant looks down at Jacques.
Very well, Clouseua. You may go with me, but keep your mouth shut. I warn you. Don't try anything foolish, or there will be consequences. Thank you, sir. You won't be disappointed.
The sergeant returns to his work and Jacques walks away. He knows that the sergeant is underestimating him. But Jacques doesn't care. He is determined to find the thief of the necklace. He will prove to the sergeant that Jacques Clouseua is the best detective in France. Chapter 2. Investigation is started. Day 2 at the Lady Dubois mansion. Jacques begins his investigation by collecting information about the guests who were at Lady Dubois' party on the night of the theft. Jacques looks for Lady Dubois and asks her.
Good day, Lady Dubois. I am Detective Jacques Clouseua, and I assure you, my lady, that I will find your necklace's thief in a blink of an eye. I'm the greatest detective in France.
Lady Dubois answers, Oh. Very nice to meet you, detective.
Can you please tell me what happened on the night of the robbery?
Lady Dubois answers. Of course, detective. I was hosting a party at my mansion that night. The party was to show the items that will be presented at the charity auction next week. I was very excited about donating part of the profits to the charity. The emperor necklace was the most valuable item. I bragged about it to everyone who was at the party.
That is very generous of you, Lady Dubois. Can I ask you who was at the party?
Lady Dubois answers, everyone was there last night. My husband, Mayor Dubois. The governor of the state, Mr. Fournier. The president of the charity auction committee, Mr. André. My business partner, Lady Dumas. The chief of police, Mr. Blanchett. And of course, my dearest friends, Sergeant Richelieu and his wife.
I see. And tell me please, when did you notice that the necklace was missing?
Lady Dubois answers, after the party had finished. I went up to the gallery room to find the necklace was gone.
Who had access to the necklace at the party?
Lady Dubois answers, everyone who were at the party had access to the necklace. It was on display, without guarding.
Did you notice anything strange last night? Do you suspect anyone?
Lady Dubois answers, no sir, nothing was suspicious last night. There was no sign of a break-in. You can confirm with the sergeant's wife, she was with me the whole time. Even before the party had yet to finish. We both gazed at the necklace for a while. And after that, we went to the door to say goodbye to all of my guests.
Thank you for your time, Lady Dubois. I'll be in touch if I have any further questions.
Jacques Clouseua, thinking to himself.
What, who, why, when, and how. Those are the magic words that solve any riddle. The what, the emperor necklace, is a very valuable item. The who, someone who was at the party. The when, it was stolen just before the party finished when the thief was sure that Lady Dubois was busy seeing her guests off. The how, simply the thief opened the glass box and took it when there was no one in the room. The why, the thief wanted the necklace so bad, and he saw an opportunity, because he knows that this is his last chance. Next week it will be auctioned at the charity. Now let's make a list of who would steal the necklace. Who could that man be? The sergeant. That's funny. But if he did steal it, it's probably because he's very cheap and likes to take other people's belongings. Like my sandwich. I think he's my sandwich thief.
Jack laughs at his own joke.
The sergeant. Ha ha ha. Focus, Jack. The thief must be.
Suddenly Jack Clouseua's stomach growled loudly, interrupting his thoughts. He realized that he hasn't eaten anything all day. So, he decided to step out of Lady Dubois' house, to buy something to eat. He bought a sandwich and a hot tea, from the convenience store nearby. He decided to eat there, and made a list of all the people who were at the party. And try to figure out their motive for stealing the necklace. Jack takes a bite from the sandwich.
This sandwich is gross. It's not half as delicious as my stolen sandwich. I hate you, my sandwich thief. I hate you, Sergeant Richelieu.
And then headed back to Lady Dubois' house. He searched for Sergeant Richelieu. At the Lady Dubois mansion, few minutes later. Jack Clouseua, smiling.
Sir, I need to speak to you.
About what, Clouseua?
About the clues that you have collected for the stolen necklace case.
Well, where have you been? The police have already caught the thief.
Wait, what do you mean? Who is the thief?
He is the Lady Dubois' butler. He must have been in a lot of debts. So, he stole the necklace to pay him off.
The butler Bernard. I don't believe that. He must be innocent. How is that possible? He is not even on my list.
What list? Oh. Stop it, Jack. The thief is caught and the case closed.
There must be a mistake. The real thief is still out there.
On what reason, Detective Jack Clouseua? Huh. Is it your list?
I can't confirm that information right now, sir.
That is ridiculous. Very well, Clouseua. The investigation is over. And I'm warning you, Jack. If you continue this investigation, I will not hesitate to take any necessary actions. Better luck on the next case. Ha.
Jack tried to collect evidence from the sergeant, but the sergeant evades the question, and tells Jack that the police have already caught the thief. And there is no need to continue the investigation. Jack is skeptical, as he believes that Lady Dubois' butler cannot be the thief, based on Jack's conclusions. Jack is upset with the sergeant for underestimating him and obstructing his investigation. He started to suspect that Sergeant Richelieu is involved somehow. Jack is determined to carry on with the investigation, even though the sergeant has told him not to, and with each new piece of evidence he collects, he is sure that the butler is innocent, and he has been framed. Jack knows that it will be dangerous to investigate the sergeant, especially because most of the evidence are pointing to the sergeant, but he is determined to do whatever it takes to bring the thief to justice. Chapter 3. The Brilliant, the Bad, and the Stupid. Day 3 at the police station. Jack sits in the interrogation room, watching Bernard the Lady Dubois' butler confessing to stealing the necklace. But Jack doesn't believe him. Sergeant Doudou enters the room. Doudou was very impressed. He says to Jack,
"Well, Jack, that was easy. Sergeant Richelieu's brilliant mind solved it within minutes." "I don't think so." "Why not?" "Because the butler came to our office yesterday to report the incidents. He had the chance to run away. But he didn't. In fact, he had been working for the Lady Dubois for more than 30 years. He was known for his good manners. Even Lady Dubois couldn't believe that he was the thief. But Jack, Bernard has already confessed the theft. He must be lying. I don't know why. Maybe he is afraid, or someone has threatened him. Also, I've noticed that the Sergeant Richelieu was obstructing the investigation, and trying to cover it up. I think he is involved somehow." "Jack, are you serious? The sergeant? What an accusation." "Just think about it for a moment. Lady Dubois was with the sergeant's wife looking at the necklace, before the guests were on their way out. Then, Lord and Lady Dubois and the sergeant wife went to the door, to see the guests of. The whole time, Bernard was standing at the door preparing coats for the guests as they left. Sergeant Richelieu was alone at that time. I think that the sergeant sent his wife to be with Lady Dubois the whole time. So, he could steal the necklace without being seen." "Come on. Stop that. Before the sergeant hears you, or anyone gets hurt, or worse, we all get fired. Drop the case and stop wasting your time." "Something is not right, Doudou. Bernard is not the thief." Sergeant Doudou sighs. "Get some rest, Jack. Maybe you'll change your mind when you're more clear-headed." Sergeant Doudou leaves the room. Jack is left alone with his thoughts. He knows that Doudou doesn't want to believe him. But Jack doesn't care. He is determined to seek the truth. At Jack's apartment, during the night. Jack is sitting at his desk, looking at his list, thinking about the case.
He is still convinced that the sergeant is involved. Jack knows that he has to do something. He couldn't let the real thief get away. Jack sighs. He doesn't know what to do. But he knows that he won't give up. He decides to infiltrate the sergeant's house to investigate him more. Jack picks up the phone and calls Sergeant Doodoo.
Doodoo, I need your help.
Doodoo over the phone.
What's wrong, Jack? Have you changed your mind?
Of course not.
Now what?
We're going to kidnap the chef cook who works at Sergeant Richelieu's house.
You are still determined that Sergeant Richelieu is the thief, aren't you?
Of course I do.
Okay, I will help you. But wait a second. Kidnapping is illegal.
Don't worry, Doodoo, just follow my leads.
Doodoo sighs.
Fine. But I'm not happy about it.
Thanks, Doodoo. I knew I could count on you. Meet me later tonight at 10 p.m. at the chef house.
At chef's house, during the night. Jack and Doodoo sneak up to the chef's house. Jack, whispering.
Doodoo, here's the plan. I will ring the chef doorbell. And when the chef answers, you'll run to the door, put a bag on his head, grab him, and put him in the trunk of the car. Is everything clear?
Doodoo, whispering.
Sounds easy enough.
Jack rings the doorbell. A moment later, the door opens and the chef steps out. Chef answered, "Hello? Who's there?" Doodoo runs to the door and puts a bag over the chef's head. Jack, with a muffled voice.
Doodoo, what are you doing?
Doodoo answers while running.
I'm following your plan.
Doodoo grabs the chef and tries to drag him towards Jack's car. Jack, with muffled voice.
No, Doodoo. That is not the plan.
What do you mean?
Jack, with muffled voice.
I can't believe you ruined our plan. Now take off this bag of my head.
Oh. My bad. If that was you under the bag, then, who was running alongside with me?
Chef out of breath answers, "That was me."
Can I ask you why?
Chef out of breath, huff. "I was trying to tell you, you idiots, to stop making too much noise. But you were running too fast."
Oh. I told you, Jack, your plan is terrible.
Jack looks in a surprise to Doodoo.
My plan? Or your execution? At least my plan gets us what we want.
Then Jack turns to the chef.
All right, monsieur, quickly, put this bag on your head. We have other plans to do.
Chef answers with a surprise, "Wait. What? Me?" After that Jack, Doodoo, and the chef, drive away from the chef's house. Chapter 4. Following leads. Day 4 at the sergeant's house, in the morning. After Jack kidnapped the chef yesterday, he disguised himself as one. He enters Sergeant Richelieu's house. He walks into the kitchen, carrying a basket of vegetables. Jack talking to the kitchen staff.
Bonjour, messieurs. I'm the new chef. Chef Gusteau.
The kitchen staff looks at Jack in surprise. Antoine, the chef assistant, replies. "But the chef will be here in a few minutes." Jack smiling and giggling.
He will not. He is out of town, and I'm his replacement. I'm the chef now.
Antoine frowning and asks in surprise. "But why didn't he call?" Jack putting his arm around Chef Antoine.
Don't worry about it, my friend. He sure has earned himself a vacation.
Jack laughing silently.
He.
Jack then begins to cook. He is a terrible cook, but he is determined to fool the sergeant. And catch him red-handed. At the sergeant's dining room, at night. The sergeant is sitting at the head of the table, waiting for his dinner. The sergeant cries.
Where is my dinner?
Jack brings out a plate of food and sets it in front of the sergeant. Jack bowing.
Good evening, sir. I am the new chef, Chef Jacques. Oh. Jacques Cousteau.
Sergeant smiling and replies.
Monsieur Cousteau, I am very pleased to meet you. I have heard about your delicious cooking.
Jack beaming with pride.
Thank you, sir. I will do my best to live up to your expectations.
Jack serves the sergeant a plate of food. The sergeant takes a bite and immediately spits it out. Sergeant disgusted.
Oh my God, what is this? This is terrible.
Jack flustered.
Oh. I'm so sorry, sir. I must have made a mistake.
Jack is trying to convince the sergeant to eat his food.
But please, sir, you must try the rest of the meal. It is a special recipe that is known to induce a state of deep relaxation.
The sergeant reluctantly takes another bite of the food. He makes a face, but he swallows it down. Sergeant sighing.
Fine. I will eat the rest of the meal only because I am so hungry.
Jack watches the sergeant eat his food with a mixture of nervousness and anticipation. He knows that the sedative he added before will soon take effect. A few minutes later, the sergeant starts to yawn. He rubs his eyes and looks at Jack.
I am so tired, Monsieur Cousteau.
Jack smiling.
That is to be expected, sir. The meal I've prepared for you is very relaxing.
The sergeant nods and yawns again. He puts his head down on the table and falls asleep. Jack beams with pride. He has fooled the sergeant. Then he sits down at the table, watching the sergeant falling asleep. After that, he thinks to himself and wonders.
Why didn't the sergeant like my cooking? I was putting so much effort in it.
Then, he unconsciously took a bite of his own food and immediately spat it out.
The sergeant was right. This is really terrible.
Then suddenly Jack remembers that he put sedatives in the food, and started to feel tired. He put his head down on the table and fell asleep next to the sergeant. A few minutes later, Assistant Chef Antoine came into the room. When suddenly he saw Jack sleeping. Antoine shaking Jack. Chef Cousteau. Chef Cousteau. Wake up. What are you doing here? Jack woke up and rubbed his eyes, looking confused.
Who? Chef Cousteau. Oh. Yes, what happened?
Antoine replies whispering. You fell asleep next to the sergeant, he is going to wake up any minute. We are not allowed to sit at the sergeant table, we need to get out quickly, before the sergeant wakes up. They immediately get out of the room. After that Jack slipped into the sergeant's bedroom. He starts to search there. He looks in every closet, drawer, and cupboard. But he couldn't find anything. Jack then moves on to the sergeant's study. He searches the desk, the bookshelves, and even the fireplace. But the necklace is nowhere to be found. Jack is starting to get discouraged. He's been searching for hours, but he's no closer to finding anything. He decides to take a break and sit down in the sergeant's chair. He closes his eyes and thinks of where could the sergeant have hidden the necklace.
He must have hidden it somewhere here.
Suddenly, Jack hears a noise coming from the dining room interrupting his thoughts. He freezes. The noise comes again. It sounds like someone is walking in the dining room.
I need to get out of here.
He quickly sneaks out of the sergeant's study and out of the house. Jack was disappointed that he couldn't find anything related to the necklace, but he was relieved that he could escape the sergeant's house without being seen. Jack knows that he will have to try again another night. Chapter 5. Persistence. Day 5 at the Jack's apartment, in the morning. Jack is sitting on his desk, thinking about Sergeant Richelieu and the necklace. Jack is upset that he couldn't find anything last night, but he knows that he cannot give up yet. He needs to find any evidence that condemns Sergeant Richelieu. But how? Jack thinks for a while. Then he comes up with a new plan that gets him closer to the sergeant work without being recognized. Jack thinking to himself,
I must return to the sergeant house. I must get closer to the sergeant's work, to find any evidence that links him to the robbery.
At the sergeant's house, during the night. Jack wears a new disguise. He is wearing a fake mustache, glasses, and a black wig. Then he sneaks into the sergeant's house. He makes his way to the sergeant's study. He knows that the sergeant is likely to be in there, working late. Jack peeks through the window of the study. He sees the sergeant sitting at his desk, working on some papers. Jack takes a deep breath and opens the door to the study. The sergeant looks up in surprise.
Who are you? And what are you doing here?
Jack in a disguised voice.
I'm the new employee, sir. I'm here to help you with your work.
Oh. Finally, I was expecting you 3 days ago. Well, send Mr. Fournier my regards. Please come in.
Jack was lucky that the sergeant confused him with somebody else. He enters the study and closes the door behind him.
So, what is your name?
Jack replies in a disguised voice.
My name is Jack. Jacques Garnier, sir.
Welcome, Monsieur Garnier. I'm sure that you'll be a valuable asset to my team.
Jack smiles. He has fooled the sergeant again, and he is one step closer to finding the evidence he needs. At the sergeant's study, later that day. Jack has been working with the sergeant for a few hours now. He's gained the sergeant's trust and he's learned a lot about his business. Few hours later, Jack is working in the sergeant's study when he finds a hidden compartment in the sergeant's desk. Inside the compartment, Jack finds the sergeant's ledger and opens it up. Jack to himself.
Let's see now what the sergeant has been up to.
Jack flips through the ledger, seeing a bunch of small purchases.
Few centimes for food here. Few francs on clothes from a thrift shop there. Ha ha. Just as I thought. This guy is a real penny pincher.
Jack continues reading the ledger. He suddenly frowns.
What the? Where did this money come from?
Jack noticed that the sergeant will receive large sums of money from an encrypted entries.
Well, this is interesting. Could this money is what the sergeant will get for selling the necklace?
Jack smiles to himself. He's finally getting closer to catching the thief. He then closes the ledger and slips it in his pocket. He knows that he needs to get out of there before the sergeant comes back. He immediately leaves the sergeant's study and returns to his apartment. At Jack's apartment, later that night. Jack Clouseua sits at his desk, poring over the ledger he found in the sergeant's study. He's determined to find evidence that connects the sergeant to the stolen necklace, but he's struggling to make sense of the cryptic entries. He sighs and rubs his temples. He's been working on this for hours, and he's starting to get nowhere. But Jack doesn't give up easily. He knows that the sergeant is guilty, and he's determined to prove it. He decrypted some information out of the ledger entries. Jack talking to himself.
This must be the man who is paying the sergeant, but who is he?
He stands up and walks over to the window. He stares out at the city below, his mind racing. He needs to find a way to get close to the sergeant again. A way to watch him closely and see if he makes any slips. He smiles suddenly. He has an idea. Chapter 6, Near and Far. At the sergeant's house, day 6. Jack Clouseua disguises again and goes to the sergeant's house. He disguises as a gardener. He wore a wide-brimmed hat and sunglasses. He starts to mow the garden lawn at the sergeant's house. He keeps an eye on the sergeant as he works. The sergeant is sitting on the patio, reading a book. Few moments later, Jack sees the sergeant picking up his phone and making a call. Jack tried to listen carefully, but he couldn't hear what the sergeant is saying. So, Jack turns off the mower. Sergeant on the phone.
Yes, Everything is going according to plan. I'll meet you at the warehouse at midnight. Don't be late.
A few minutes later, the sergeant hangs up the phone and stands up. He walks over to the side of the patio and looks out at the garden. The sergeant looks at Jack. Jack gets confused.
What should I do? I hope that he doesn't recognize me or notice that the mower is off.
Jack continues mowing the lawn, even with the mower off. The sergeant watches Jack for a moment, then turns and walks back to his chair. He sits down and picks up his book again. Jack sighs with relief. He's safe. He continues mowing the lawn, but he keeps an eye on the sergeant out of the corner of his eye. Jack to himself from behind the tree.
So, the sergeant is planning to meet someone at the warehouse tonight. I wonder what he's up to. I'd better follow him and find out.
Later that day, during the night. Jack to himself from a distance.
There is the sergeant. And there is the mysterious man in the black coat. I need to get closer so I can hear what they're talking about.
Jack sneaks closer to the warehouse. He can hear the sergeant and the mysterious man talking, but he can't make out what they're saying. Jack to himself frustrated.
I can't hear a thing. I need to get closer.
Jack takes a deep breath and starts to walk towards the warehouse. He's about to reach the door when the sergeant and the mysterious man suddenly walk out. Sergeant says to the mysterious man,
Okay, I'll be in touch.
The mysterious man nods and walks away. Sergeant to himself,
That is all taken care of. Now I just have to wait.
The sergeant walks back to his car and drives away. Jack to himself sighing.
I missed my chance. What should I do now?
As Jack walks away, he doesn't notice a man who's standing behind him. The man says to Jack, Excuse me. Jack turns around and sees the man. He is wearing a tuxedo and smoking a cigar. He looks like a wealthy businessman.
How can I help you, sir?
The man, You seem to be a very good janitor. You're very efficient and thorough. Jack confused.
Thank you, sir.
The man, I'm very impressed. Here, take this. The man hands Jack a 100-franc bill. Jack surprised.
No, sir, I can't accept this.
The man, Nonsense. Take it. You've earned it. Jack hesitates for a moment, then takes the 100-franc bill.
Thank you, sir.
The man, You're welcome. And good luck with your cleaning. The man walks away. Jack is still confused. He doesn't understand why the man gave him the 100-franc bill. But he's grateful for it nonetheless. Jack to himself laughing.
Well, that was easy. I got paid to do my job, and I didn't even have to clean anything. I think that this day was not wasteful at all. Maybe I should change careers. Cleaning man is a pretty good gig.
Just then, another man walks up to Jack. He is wearing a suit and tie and carrying a briefcase. Man, excuse me, sir. Can I spare a moment of your time? Jack confused.
Sure. What is it?
Man, I am the head of the local charity organization. We're raising money to help the homeless, and I was wondering if you would be willing to donate anything. Jack sighs and reaches into his pocket. He pulls out the 100-franc bill that the first man gave him and hands it to the man. Man, surprised, Oh, my goodness. Thank you so much, sir. This is a very generous donation. It will help many people in need. The man walks away. Jack to himself, smiling.
Well, at least my disguise is convincing.
Jack walks away, chuckling to himself. At Jack's apartment, during the night. Jack Clouseua is sitting at his desk, writing in his notebook. He has been following the sergeant, and he's finally starting to see a pattern. The sergeant has been meeting with a mysterious man in a black coat. Jack doesn't know who the man is, but Jack is sure that he's involved in the theft of the necklace. Jack smiles. He's getting closer to the truth. He knows that he needs to find out more about the mysterious man in the black coat. But how? He thinks for a moment, then his eyes light up. He has an idea. Jack decides to call Sergeant Doodoo to tell him about the mysterious man. He hopes that if they can figure out who the mysterious man is, they can also find out what business he has with the sergeant, or even link the sergeant to the robbery.
Hello, Sergeant Doodoo, I need your help.
Hello, Jack. How can I help you?
I have some new information about the necklace that I need you to investigate.
What information?
There is a mysterious man who has been paying the sergeant a lot of money. They met last night near the abandoned old warehouse. I tried to follow them and listen to what they were talking about, but I couldn't hear anything.
Okay. What do you want me to do now?
First, I need you to think of something to arrest that man. So, we can find out who is he, and what business he has with the sergeant. Then, we can link the sergeant to the robbery.
Jack described the man to Doodoo. Jack hangs up the phone. He knows that he can count on Sergeant Doodoo, and he knows that he is one step closer to catching the sergeant. Chapter 7, Final Piece. Day 7 at the police station, in the morning. Sergeant Doodoo tells Jack that he has tried to investigate the mysterious man, but he couldn't arrest him. Jack is devastated. He can't believe that the Sergeant Richelieu is getting away with it. Jack goes to the police station and searches for Sergeant Doodoo.
I can't believe you let him go.
The man is an art dealer. He is very wealthy and very powerful. I went through a lot of trouble just to talk to him. I'm sorry, Jack, but we don't have any solid evidence against him.
But I know he's involved in the theft of the necklace somehow.
I know you do, Jack. But without any proof, we can't take him in.
Jack sighs. He knows that Sergeant Doodoo is right. Jack thinks for a moment, then replies to Doodoo.
Thank you, Doodoo, for connecting the dots.
What dots are you talking about?
The mysterious man is an art dealer, so, now I am 100% sure that Sergeant Richelieu stole the necklace to sell it to him. We just need to prove it.
He stands up and walks to the window. He looks out at the city below. Jack to himself.
Soon I'll catch you, Sergeant Richelieu.
Even though Jack couldn't get any information from the mysterious man, except that he is an art dealer, Jack is sure that Sergeant Richelieu is guilty, and he will do whatever it takes to prove it. He leaves the police station and walks down the street. He's not sure what to do next, but he knows he is very close, and he can't give up now. At Jack's apartment, during the day, Jack sits at his desk, lost in his thoughts. He is determined to catch the sergeant, but he doesn't know how. Suddenly, an idea strikes him. He just remembered about the charity party that will be held that night. Jack thinks to himself.
It is the perfect opportunity to catch the thief.
Then, Jack quickly calls Sergeant Doodoo, and a few hours later a box arrives at Jack's house. He gets dressed, takes the box with him, and heads to the party. At the charity party, during the night, Jack was sure that all the high-profile people in town will be at the charity party. He arrived very early and slipped the box he carried under the auction podium. A few minutes later, the guests begin to arrive to the party. Jack mingles with them, keeping an eye out for the sergeant. He doesn't have to wait long. The sergeant soon arrives with his wife. Jack immediately goes to Lady Dubois and tells her not to comment anything about the necklace, as he has a plan in mind to catch the real thief of the necklace. Jack takes few steps away and he picks up his phone, dials a number and waits. A moment later, a man answers the phone. Andre speaking, how can I help you?
Hello, this is Lord Dubois. Is this the charity auction?
Andre, yes, it is.
I have a very special item I would like to donate to the auction.
Andre, oh? What is it?
It's the Emperor necklace.
Andre is silent for a moment. Andre then replies, are you serious? The necklace was stolen? Right?
No, sir, we have been hiding it until the charity begins, so no one can steal it.
That's amazing. Thank you so much, Lord Dubois. That is very generous of you. God bless you.
God bless us all. You will find the necklace under the auction podium.
Andre, thank you again. Jack hangs up the phone and smiles. He knows that this is his chance to catch Sergeant Richelieu. The box which Jack put under the auction podium contains a fake replica of Lady Dubois' necklace. Everybody in the charity had heard the news that the necklace will be displayed at the auction that night. Jack is standing at the back of the charity auction room, watching the sergeant. The sergeant is sitting at a table with his wife, talking to some other people. Jack noticed that the sergeant is confused. Sergeant Richelieu whispering to his wife.
What is going on? How on earth that necklace is here?
At the charity auction, few minutes later. The auction for the necklace has started. Auctioneer cries, and, now for the very special item, the Emperor necklace, do I have $1 million? The auction for the necklace continues. Jack was very thirsty, so he was looking for the waiter to get him a drink. Then, he steps forward and raises his hand waving to the waiter. Auctioneer cries, do I have a bid of $10 million? The auctioneer saw Jack's hand and thought he was bidding on the necklace. Jack tried to say no, but his voice was so faint that the auctioneer couldn't hear him. Jack crying.
No, no. I was waving to the waiter.
Auctioneer cries, $10 million. Going once. Going twice. Sold to Monsieur Jack Clouseua. The gavel falls. The necklace has been sold. Sergeant Doody speaking with Jack in surprise.
Jack, what have you done? I don't know. Now, how will you pay? I don't know.
The sergeant's eyes widened in shock. He stands up and walks over to Jack.
Jack, what have you done?
I don't know.
But how that is possible? The necklace was stolen. Right. How did it end up in the auction?
Jack thought to himself that maybe it was a good thing that he had accidentally bought the fake necklace. So, he can speak to the sergeant directly. Jack replies to the sergeant.
Oh. Haven't you heard? The stolen necklace from Lady Dubois was a replica. She kept that a secret, so she can sell the original necklace at the auction today. The fake necklace is made from cheap steel. It is probably rusty now. Poor Bernard, he is in jail for nothing.
The sergeant's wife gasped and whispered in Sergeant Richelieu's ear. Their eyes widened in shock. They stand up and go out of the auction room. Jack smiles. He knows that the sergeant is going to check the authenticity of his necklace. At the sergeant's house, later that night. The sergeant rushes into his house and goes to his bedroom. He brings a magnet. He opens his safe and takes out the necklace. He holds it in his hands and the magnet with the other hand. And brings his hands together. He sighs with relief.
Oh. Thank God, the necklace is not attracted to the magnet.
He sighs again with relief, that he has the original Emperor necklace. Suddenly, the police burst into the room. Police officer cries.
Sergeant Richelieu, you're under arrest for the theft of Lady Dubois' necklace.
The sergeant looks down at the necklace in his hands. Then he realizes that Jack had made him a trap and he has been caught. He drops the necklace from his hand and puts his hands up in the air. The police officers handcuff him and lead him away. Chapter 8. Good Hunch. Day 8 at the police station. Jack is sitting in the interrogation room, watching the sergeant confess to stealing the necklace.
The gallery room was empty. I saw an opportunity. And I stole the necklace.
I knew you did.
I can't believe that I fell into your trap, Jack. How I did not see that. How? I was fooled. You are smarter than you look. I just can't believe it.
Well, I am the great detective Jack Clouseua. Now you'll have plenty of time to think about it.
The sergeant is led away. Bernard is set free, so he goes to Jack with a big smile. Bernard says to Jack, "Thank you, sir. I have no doubt that you are capable of catching the real thief. Indeed, you are the best detective in France."
Well, Bernard, a good detective follows every lead. Even a sandwich could be a good lead.
Sergeant Doudou, and everyone at the police station congratulates Jack. Jack walking with pride, he stands up and walks to the window. He looks out at the city below.
I did it. I solved the case. I am Jack Clouseua, the world's greatest detective. Ha ha.
Jack walks to the kitchen, he opens the fridge and looks inside trying to find his sandwich, but he realizes that it is stolen. Jack sighs.
Oh no. Not again. I thought the sandwich thief was the sergeant. The thief is still on the loose. I must find him. I will not rest until justice is served.
The end. Thank you for listening. I hope that you have enjoyed the story. See you soon. Bye. Written by Mohammed Al-Jayroudi.